Hello and welcome into another edition of 8Sports Nightcap here on the WRC Plus app, on WRC Now. Everywhere that you've been getting the show for the past few months. Got another special show this week. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we talked with Darren Sawatsky of the Richmond Kickers. And nowadays, it's kind of hard to talk about the Kickers without talking about the Richmond Ivy. If maybe you haven't been around the soccer world for the past couple of years, the Ivy have taken the city of Richmond by storm, right? Last year was their inaugural season in the USLW, had a lot of success, not just on the field, but with, just promotion and the support of women's soccer in Richmond. I mean, the girls are out drawing the guys in some of these games, a lot of them, I should say. And then this year is a brand new year, got a brand new head coach, and that's who's sitting down with us today. It is Owusu Sekyere of the Richmond Ivy. Owusu, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us today. I know this is kind of new for you as well. I mean, I say that, but you guys are almost halfway through the season already. But how has year one been with the Ivy, and how are you enjoying this new role?
For me, it's been a good opportunity for me. It's a great opportunity for me in regards to, being first time being a head coach. So it's exciting and a big opportunity for me as well. And also being around the Richmond soccer community, it's been very good and, like I said, a great opportunity for me. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, before we jump, head first in the Ivy, I would like to kind of, do a little background on you since we'll be chatting with you today. I know that your playing days, you played at VCU, and then you spent a lot of time, playing some pro soccer. You played with the Kickers. You spent some time in USL Pro, and then you've kind of shuffled around the Richmond community, working with the Richmond Kickers, as I understand, and then being an assistant at VCU. I think you spent a year at George Mason, and now back in Richmond as you served as an interim head coach for the VCU's men's team this past year. So it seems like you're in the know of what's going on around the Richmond soccer community.
Yes. Again, like my first time coming to the United States was straight to Richmond. So I've been in Richmond since 2006, playing for VCU. After that, I played for a year in the USL Pro, like you said, for Charlotte, and then I came back to Richmond. It was an easy decision for me to come back to Richmond because Richmond was so good to me when I was even playing at VCU. I was coaching here and there with the soccer community. And then when I came back to play with the Kickers, I started coaching fully, like, into it. As I was playing, I was coaching, and I was enjoying it. It was a really good time for me. I enjoyed it, playing and coaching. And then after playing, I decided to coach full time. So then after that, I jumped into coaching VCU, and then I had the opportunity to go to Mason. And the funny thing is, when I went back to Mason and VCU's opportunity came, it was just a happy, like it didn't take me a second to say, I had to go back to Richmond. So Richmond has been a soccer place for me, and more like a home. Richmond is a home for me. And then with the soccer community, it's a big soccer community that everyone embraces whenever I come in. So I was happy to take this opportunity on as well, coaching the Richmond Ivy. Yeah.
So please correct me if I'm wrong, but you're born and raised in Ghana, correct?
Yes, I was born and raised in Ghana.
So how did VCU find you? How does the first time you're coming to the United States is to play at VCU? How does that entire recruiting process work?
VCU came down to Ghana to scout for players, and I was part of the showcase. I was in the showcase. So they kind of scouted me. And then from there on, I spoke with the coach, then Tim Sullivan. So when I started speaking with him, more like the same way recruiting process goes through here. You go through the showcase. Once the school is interested in you, you start exchanging your information, your school transcripts and everything. So then I applied for the school, and then I got in, and then the opportunity came for me to come to the U.S. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you've been here ever since. You have this new opportunity this year where you take over for the being in charge of the Richmond Ivy. You spent a lot of time, obviously, with the guys. Now you're with the girls. What's it been like? I'm sure it's a little different coaching the Ivy versus VCU.
So, yeah, actually, VCU, I was actually coaching on the women's side as well.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So no problem. But coaching the guys, and it's not much difference. The difference probably I'll say is the speed. But other than that, everything is mostly the same.
Yeah.
The tactical part, the technical part. Fortunately for us in Richmond here, it's a lot of technical players, both boys and girls. So it's not much difference, I would say. The tactical part these days, every coach wants to learn and improve. So it's almost the same thing in regards to the tactical part. So I wouldn't say it's a whole lot of difference in regards to the game itself. It's just, as you can tell, the boys can go a little faster. Girls. That's basically it. Everything else is almost the same as it is.
How did the opportunity kind of arise with the Ivy? And if you could also like take a moment to, explain it a little bit, because I think a lot of people are confused around the community that maybe aren't into the soccer side of things. Like, is it professional? Is it college? Like they can't wrap their head around, an amateur summer league. So if you kind of explain that as well as your opportunity and how it presented itself.
So yeah, like you said, my time with the Richmond Kickers, I have a long time history with Rob. Rob being the owner, and Madeline. And also, I had an encounter with her when I was working at George Mason, and then even at VC. So the two of them, they knew me. They are like Rob has known me since I started coaching at Kickers and even playing. So knowing me and what I'm about, they felt like it would be a good fit for the program. So when they reached out to me, we kind of went through a small interview process. And again, like I said, they've known me way back, so they knew what I was about. So I had to kind of share with them what my ideas are in regards to the game and how I go about in treating players and how I want players to succeed in the game. So that was more of that. In regards to what was your next question? Sorry.
If you could kind of explain what the USLW is, what the IVR,
Correct.
because I think
So
there's some
yeah,
confusion.
correct. So for the USLW league, it's more like a pre-professional. So basically, we are preparing all these college players who are ready for the next level of the game, or even preparing them for their fall season. So the players in and around Richmond, or in the colleges in and around Richmond, players who grew up in the Richmond area, once the season is over with their schools, the spring season is over, mostly it's like summertime. What do they have to do? So now this league is kind of like the bridge between their time in the spring and preparing them for their fall season, which is more like their actual season. So in as much as we do that, we also kind of prepare them for the next level. As you can see, there are a lot of opportunities to play at the professional level, where now there's the USL Super League and then the NWSL. So basically, this is kind of like the gap between the college players and the Super League. So we are preparing the players for their fall season, and then also have them have a feel of being in the professional environment, how it feels like playing in front of fans, over 5,000 fans.
Yeah.
How it feels like having that, again, like I said, the next level, preparing, getting yourself ready as a professional to play a game over the weekend, to get yourself ready as a professional to train every day and be the best that you can be. So this is kind of like the bridge between that college level and the professional level. So
yeah, and it feels like, I've been at these games covering them, shooting some highlights and stuff for the news, and the support has been tremendous. I was the first season, I kind of came in halfway through, and I wasn't all that familiar with, how the support would be for the team. But I've just been blown away by, the Richmond soccer community, like embracing the Ivy. And how cool has that been to kind of be part of this new thing that it feels like the city of Richmond has really gotten behind. I mean, they're almost having 6,000 fans out at every game.
Yeah. So it's been great. I mean, like you said, our first game of this season is similar to last season. We were sold out with over 6,000 fans. So it's been great. It's just like, sorry, I lost my train of thought again. What was your question again? Sorry.
The Richmond soccer community and community have really gotten behind the Ivy. And what's it been like to be a part of that?
So like you can see, our players are all from the Richmond area, who grew up in the Richmond area. Or it's either they grew up in the Richmond area, or they are playing at a collegiate level in schools that are in Virginia. So you can see this is just for the community. We're doing this for the players who grew up playing in the youth soccer ranks, getting up all the way to the college level. So for sure, we want to make sure that we are connected with the community by bringing in players who grew up in the Richmond area or who are playing in the schools in and around the Richmond area or in Virginia as a whole. So the community is a huge part of this, which we have been really fortunate and lucky in this league. We are one of the teams that is really connected to the community, and we appreciate that a lot. We have a whole lot of support from the youth clubs, from the community, from fans, like people who just even enjoy watching soccer.
Oh, yeah.
And we're very fortunate and very lucky with that.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the Ivy games and the technical play, and I feel like it's a great medium and a great way to watch a game out, obviously, out at City Stadium. You know, being on the sidelines again and, you know, now coaching in front of a packed stadium, is that exciting for you? Do you get nervous as a coach with all those people there?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's different. Like when I was playing, it's almost like almost the same as many fans as we could get, but it's different now on the sideline being the coach, where now you have to look at the entire basically 18 or 20 players who are rostered rather than when I was a player, it was just about me making sure I was doing well. However, it's also an exciting opportunity whereby now I feel like I have the opportunity to help these players play at the best as they can be or play at their highest level as they can be. So it's been really exciting and really good opportunity. The good thing also on the other side is most of the players now on the current team, I coached them when they were like 11, 12, 13
Oh, yeah,
years.
really?
So it's also a very exciting opportunity to see them now playing at this level, being at their best and enjoying it and having fun in front of people who have always watched them since they were kids. So yeah. It's been an exciting opportunity, and I'm enjoying it.
You know, I'm sure coaching, you know, the Ivy is pretty different from coaching, you know, at VCU because it is kind of a developmental thing. You're trying to, you know, improve everybody's skill. But, and I understand that it probably, you're not trying to go out there and lose, but maybe the wins and losses aren't as important as they are at VCU, or are we out here to you know, win a title? How does wins and losses work in this?
No, so in as much as you develop the players, you also want them to be competitive. I think competitiveness is part of the development. So yes, in as much as we want to make sure that they are developing and preparing them for the fall season, again, even as you prepare them for that fall season, they want to go in there and win. So in as much as you do that, yes, I think that the winning is also part of the development. And so we want to make sure that for me, and I always tell them that we want to make sure that we are putting in as much as effort as we can be put in. As long as we give that 100% maximum effort, I think the results will take care of itself. So there's a thin line between we saying, okay, we are developing and also the winning. But yes, we want to win. We want to make sure we are getting over and making the playoffs. That is more like the number one goal, but it's also a process. There has to be a process that we go through. And with the development, at the end of the day, we also want to compete. So the competition, now the end results will be winning the games, making the playoffs. So yes, I don't want us to think we are developing players only, but also the winning mentality has to be a part of that development. So yes.
Probably not a great question for me, let's be honest. But
no, that was a great question. I think a lot of people have that question. It's a very good question. I think.
Well, thank you.
That now I kind of clarify that because I use the word development, and then now it's like, oh, they're just going there to play. No, we want to make sure that the winning mentality, as like I said, development, you have to develop that winning mentality or the competitiveness, and it's part of that development.
Speaking of competitiveness and competing, I know that you guys are going to try to compete this Thursday as you have a cup game, a Brandy Chastain Cup game, first ever, you know, kind of I'm pretty sure it's the first year for this cup, and you're playing some teams from across the country. New England's coming down this Thursday, 7 o'clock. Tickets are still on sale to see the Ivy take on the New England Mutiny. And then if you guys win that one, you're going to play a West Coast team. So it's kind of a nationwide cup that you guys have going on here. You know, how special is that these girls get to compete on, you know, something of a national stage?
So this is special for us. And again, for us to even get this bid, it's all about the fans. The fans was a huge part of the reason why we got this bid. It starts from there. So for sure, we will need the fans coming out this Thursday. Now, in going to that, it's a big opportunity for us to for us to compete in a cup tournament like Brandy Chastain, who's a legend in the women's soccer game. So we want to make sure that, and in the final, she's going to be a presence. So we want to make sure we are competing and making sure we are going far in this tournament so we can bring her to Richmond for our fans to get the opportunity to, see her. In saying that, like you said, it's a nationwide tournament. We also want to make sure that the name Richmond, and then it goes further to the Richmond Ivy, gets to the United States when it comes to the women's soccer part, which the Kickers have done. But now we also want to make sure on the female side, the Richmond Ivy gets to nationwide with that name, basically more like the Richmond as it's well known. Richmond is a big soccer community in the United States, and we want to make sure now we send that message out there that the Richmond Ivy, which is the female, more like the female version of the Richmond Kickers, has arrived, and the Richmond community, including the fans, are still going on with soccer on the women's side of the game.
Yeah, there really is. I think you bring up a good point that there is a great soccer community here in Richmond, obviously with the Kickers, and then now the youth league, Richmond United, and then I play in the men's league here, and it's like there's like 1,000 teams or something ridiculous between all the different men's league teams that are around here. So here's a look at the teams that are playing for our viewers at home that maybe aren't familiar. The Ivy this Thursday will be playing the New England Mutiny, who finished first in the Eastern Conference of the United Women's Soccer. That's who they play on Thursday, and then they'll play the winner between the California Storm and Pan World Elite from Utah. So if you guys get a win on Thursday, a big matchup against a national brand from across the country, that'll be something really, really cool. I know you guys are looking forward to that. How about we talk about the season a little bit? I know you guys have had some success. I'm sure there's some results you would have liked to seen go differently, but to get 4 points at home, I'm sure you're excited about, and then to grab 3 on the road was nice too.
Yeah. So far, like I said, we went in with all that excitement, getting that first home game with a 3-0 win. And where we are right now, we are happy with it. And right now, this game comes at the right time where we feel like we have almost the core of our team and also play together, that now we know how we want to play and how we want to go about competing in. So for sure, the league where we are right now, we are not so happy with it, but we are okay with it in regards to the fact that we have had some wins. In as much as these losses have come, we feel like we have been in control of all those games. So now we need to move on to the next one where now we can get some more wins and then close it down and make the playoffs. So yes.
It's crazy to think that you guys have already 5 games in the season, and obviously you only have 6 games left. I mean, we're at the halfway point already. Has it just flown by? Do you wish you had more time with the Ivy?
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think that we have a really, I've been lucky with the kind of players that we have. And like you talked about, Richmond United, most of the girls from Richmond area and the Richmond United, really good players. So I've been very lucky with that. So in that, it's made it a little bit of an easy way of, kind of letting them know how I want them to play, getting the playing style across, wherever. The only thing is sometimes, players have to change, the squad have to change and all that. But now, fortunately, we have all the players in, and now we have more like a full squad. Whereas in the beginning, we had some players who had to be in school for their exams and all that. But for now, we feel like we are ready, and this is the right time, mid-season, and we are ready to close down the season with the next 5-6 games that we feel like we can be at our best, starting from Thursday, that we're going to be at our best.
Perfect. Well, Coach Sekyere, thanks so much for taking the time. I know you got a lot of work to do for this upcoming cup match on Thursday, and then there's also 3 more home dates on June 11th, 14th, and 26th that our fans can try to get out to. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. So that was the head coach of the Richmond Ivy, Owusu Sekyere. Of course, last year, or I should say this year was his first year as head coach of the Ivy. They've already found some success, a few wins, and they're hoping to, kind of make a national splash with the win this upcoming Thursday. Tickets for that game against the New England Mutiny are still available online on richmondivy.com. You can find them there. And one thing we didn't really talk about, I probably should have gotten into that I wanted to talk about, is the Ivy gear, right? I mean, they have some of the best gear and merchandise that I have seen. Here, I can actually pull it up right here. Oh, that's double box. Hold on a second for me. Maybe I can't do that. Oh, here it is. They got some of the best uniforms in the league by far. I mean, take a look at these things. The Ivy is such a great name. And they have some really good merchandise. I was out at the Kickers game this past Saturday, and I stopped by the shop. And the Ivy logo is great. I mean, it's one of the better soccer logos in general. And I think it deserves some love. I mean, it's some really great branding. The green looks great. I think it goes well with Richmond. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a great name behind, or great story, I should say, behind how they came up with the name and logo and whatnot. But I really love the Richmond Ivy branding. I think it's gorgeous, and the team's a lot of fun to watch. He mentioned it a little bit, and this is more opinion maybe so than anything, but the girls' side's maybe just not as fast as the guys' side, and the guys' side, because it's so fast, sometimes it can come off as a little sloppy, to be honest with you, because guys are having to go full speed all of the time. Otherwise the speed will catch up to them and they will lose the ball, whereas the girls can be a little more technical. And to be honest with you, I find it as a spectator, especially in person, or at least over at City Stadium, the girls sometimes can be by far more entertaining because you can kind of see the play develop a little bit more, whereas the guys are so fast, it's like you look away for 2 seconds and then they're on the other side of the field, a cross is coming in and they're scoring a goal, whereas you kind of appreciate maybe the build-up from the Ivy a little bit. But that's just my opinion. There's not too much fact behind that. But if you haven't been out to a Richmond Ivy game, highly recommend it. I've gotten to be out at a couple this past season. This Thursday will be my first time getting to be there in person this year, so I'm looking forward to grabbing some highlights and checking in on the Ivy this year. As mentioned, only 4 home games left. If you've been trying to get out to an Ivy game, there's only 4 opportunities left, and that begins this Thursday with a cup match, the first of its kind. So I know they want some support, so be sure to go out there and check them out. First game back home after a 3-game homestand this upcoming Thursday at 7 o'clock over at City Stadium. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up another edition of 8Sports Nightcap here on the WRIC Plus app and on WRICnow.com. Thanks so much for stopping by. Next week, hopefully, we're going to have a very special guest. I don't want to jinx it and say who it is, but you're going to want to check in next week, as we should have another great show for you as we do throughout the summer. All right, guys, that's going to wrap things up. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.